Manchester United could have a difficult dilemma on their hands next season when it comes to the starting goalkeeper spot. Mark Ogden joining me now to discuss whether David De Gea should stay in between the sticks for United or whether Dean Henderson does provide a genuine threat to the Spanish shot stopper. What's your initial thoughts for next campaign, Mark?
I think the next season, I think De Gea's probably safe for now. I think it's probably too early for Henderson to come back and push De Gea to be the number one, but there's certainly some impatience on Henderson's part to be the main guy. He's a very confident young guy, and United have always noted how confident he is in his ability, but let's be honest, he's had less than a full season in the Premier League. He's still 23. If I was him, I'd say don't rush, but I think if he goes back now, he's not going to get the first team place ahead of De Gea, but in 12 months' time, who knows? If he has another Premier League loan somewhere, shows his quality and then comes back, it may be different. But I think right now, I think United wouldn't switch De Gea for Henderson right now.
Is he going to want to do that though? After what he will feel that he's proven himself in this season, and then obviously there's the season before in the Championship and everything he did to help his side get up. Will he want to go out on loan for another season?
It depends how it's sold to him. I think, like I say, he's 23, so for a goalkeeper, that is very young. And we look at all the great goalkeepers, they're still playing late 30s, maybe early 40s. You look at people like Buffon. So I think if Henderson is looked at the bigger picture, it would be foolish now, I think, at 23 to decide to leave Man United and move elsewhere. It's Man United. I think if you can be patient and wait, get more experience, like I say, he's not even had a full season in the Premier League yet. So I don't think Man United could afford to put their number one jersey on a keeper that's not played a full Premier League season. So it'd benefit him if he just sat tight. You know, you've got Euros again next summer because this one was cancelled. If he can get an England squad for Euro 2021, he's in a much better position in 12 months' time than now. And, you know, why not go to Sheffield United or another club on loan next season, play 38 league games and show how good you are? If you go back to Man United, you could be playing, you know, less than 10. And I think, you know, that's the concern. They've given Lee Grant a new contract at United to kind of safeguard against, you know, losing Sergio Romero. But I don't think that Henderson would go back and be the number two. I don't think he wants to be number two. And I think at 23, he's probably got that youthful exuberance, thinks that he can play, but just stick where he is and loan another loan would be good for him, I think.
What do you think Solskjaer would want to do? Would he prefer him to do that, to go out on loan, or would he like him to be in the squad fighting for the number one spot?
I don't think Solskjaer wants to lose him. I think that's the definite. I think a lot depends on what happens to Sergio Romero, because I think if you look around the Premier League, I think United have probably got the best understudy of all the Premier League goalkeepers. He's a great number two. He's Argentina's number one. If he stays, then there's no reason for Henderson to come back. If Romero decides to leave, he's been there 4 or 5 years now, then it leaves Solskjaer with a bit of a problem because, you know, Lee Grant has been around the lower leagues. He's not really got Premier League experience. So you'd have De Gea and Grant. There would be a gap for a kind of a reliable number two, but I don't think Henderson wants that. And that's the issue, that Henderson wouldn't go back, I don't think, to sit on the bench. So the problem for United is that if Romero goes, what do they do then? But I just don't see Henderson going back to being number two. I think the best decision all around would be for him to have one more year on loan and then see where it leaves both parties.
And so do you think with that one more year on loan, you're all looking at David De Gea to see whether he continues to be error prone this season? I think this season, it just gone, or the season we're still in, there's no other goalkeeper, or maybe he's up there on a par with another one, who've made errors that have led to goals than him. So where's this confidence gone from this player?
Yeah, sometimes with De Gea, I wonder if it's his focus. He never looks the most kind of at it in a game. You know, it does look like his mind drifts, and maybe that's just the way his appearance and what have you. But we're going back to the World Cup now in 2018. It's been a 2-year slide almost, and I think you look around now, and for me, De Gea is no longer one of the top 3 keepers in the world. He's definitely slipped, and he's maybe an outdated keeper in the sense that people like Alisson Becker, Ederson, you know, Ter Stegen at Barcelona, even people still like Manuel Neuer, they kind of reinvented goalkeeping a bit. That they play way out of the goal area at times. They're almost sweeper keepers, but De Gea goes the other way. He kind of rushes back to his 6-yard box. He's very reluctant to come out of his area, and I think the game's moved on. And you know, once De Gea starts making these errors, his kind of shortcomings are exposed even more. So I think he's got a massive season next year, De Gea. If he doesn't, you know, kind of restore that confidence he had in his game from 2 or 3 years ago, I think United could cut the losses next year. He's got a contract till 2023. So, you know, United, I won't say they're stuck with him, but they've got him for a while yet. But next year's a huge year for both De Gea and Henderson. And this time next year, we might be talking about De Gea moving on and Henderson going back to Old Trafford as the number one.
When you just look at their stats this season, Dean Henderson has 10 clean sheets compared to David De Gea's 8. They've come in fewer games as well, 27 games compared to De Gea's 29. And he's let in fewer goals. It's 22 goals he's let in. And David De Gea has let in 30. But still, some argue that De Gea is a better fit for United's style. What would you say to that?
I'm not. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I think De Gea's style might at some point times be holding United back because I've been told that the way that De Gea plays, he kind of invites the defenders to drop deeper to protect him more. So if you're defending deeper, you're inviting the position on. So maybe De Gea is the reason why he's letting so many in and saving so many shots as well is that the way he plays, he invites more shots at goal than another goalkeeper would. But the one thing I'd say about Henderson, as great a season as he had, the one standout memory for me is the mistake he made against Liverpool when he let one through his legs, and that was a big mistake, cost Sheffield United the game. And after the game, Chris Wilder said that, he needs to kind of sharpen up his focus if he's going to be a goalkeeper for Man United. Now, that was one mistake, but that kind of shows in a very big game, if you make a mistake, it's highlighted. And his reaction after that game, you just wonder whether, mentally he's ready yet for the focus of playing for a club like Man United. Like I say, he's a young goalkeeper. He probably needs to make more mistakes at a smaller kind of profile to get used to that, to when he goes back to United, because otherwise, I've seen it over the years. United can kind of ruin a lot of goalkeepers. We've seen it with people like, Tim Howard, Fabian Barthez, Massimo Taibbi is an obvious one, but Mark Bosnich is another one. If you're not a great goalkeeper, the mental strength to cope with United, it can chew you up and spit you out. So he should go there when he's ready, not rush there.
One great goalkeeper in Manchester United's history, Peter Schmeichel, thinks that David De Gea should keep his spot. And he says that in terms of what Dean Henderson's done this season, it's a big difference playing at Bramall Lane to it is at Old Trafford. And there's a big pressure that comes with playing at Old Trafford. Do you think Dean Henderson would be up to dealing with that pressure?
This is the question that nobody can answer right now. I think I'd say no. I mean, I might be wrong. I might misjudge his character because he's quite a confident lad. But if you make a mistake playing for Man United, the whole world knows about it. If you make a mistake playing for Sheffield United, you might get away with it unless it's against a club like Liverpool. So I think that Schmeichel's right. De Gea's got that experience that you need right now, and he has made a lot of mistakes. But in fairness to De Gea, he's bounced back from those mistakes. So I think Henderson needs to realise that playing for Man United is life in a goldfish bowl. You have to be ready for it, and it wouldn't do him any harm to just have another year elsewhere. I mean, look at Joe Hart. Joe Hart was billed as one of the best keepers in the world when he started at Man City, but it came very much too young for Joe Hart. And by the time, late 20s, he was already kind of damaged goods because he made a lot of mistakes and couldn't handle the pressure of being a top level goalkeeper. So, Henderson could have 17, 18 years ahead of him. So, and at least 10 of those could be at Man United. So why rush another year? Just build up your experience somewhere else, and then let's see where it leaves you in 12 months' time.
You mentioned England for him and how another loan deal could really help his chances there. How do you rate him against the likes of a Jordan Pickford and a Nick Pope?
I think he's got what it takes. I think he's certainly got the potential. Pickford has made a lot of mistakes, but like De Gea, he had a great World Cup in 2018, Pickford, and he's come back and he's been a bit erratic. We remember the big mistake he made in the derby against Liverpool last year when I think it was Origi scored late on. And this season as well, he's made mistakes. So, Pickford's vulnerable. Nick Pope is a very steady goalkeeper and he's very able, but again, playing for Burnley, he's not kind of exposed to the same pressures that you will be exposed to at a bigger club. So the chance is there for Henderson to take it. But I think if he's going to be England's goalkeeper at Euro 2020, 21, whatever we're going to call it, he has to be playing next season. And if he goes back to Man United, unless De Gea gets injured, he's not going to be playing regularly enough to get that England spot. So that's why I think it suits everybody from Henderson's career perspective at short term and long term to have another year on loan next season.
Yeah, Dean Henderson's rise as a goalkeeper coinciding with David De Gea's dip in form. Gunnar Solskjaer has certainly got some decisions to make next season.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.